I've been asked about this in, I don't know, a dozen different countries around the world.
What is cyber sex?
It's a fantasy.
Demure, aggressive, sleazy, be honest.
Sleazy. Everyone always asks about virtual sex.
I'm fascinated by this.
To be totally honest, it kind of grosses me out, but for the others, I'm happy.
Virtual sex come primarily out of a computer nerd culture with a lot of lonely males obsessed with sex because they're not getting enough.
Whatever we were doing, it's over now.
Virtual sex is, kind of one of these really gross things. You say, what's the input device? What's the output device?
The whole thing concerns me a little bit. First of all, I think anybody who wants to make it with a machine shouldn't be trusted with another human being.
This is no place for monkeys, Polo.
Well, talk about the ultimate in safe sex as long as you don't have a hydraulic problem with your interface.
It's not something that the current technology even makes possible.
I could see, however, where it would be a popular thing.
You've probably also heard words like erototronics or telesex.
What? Telesex, great, fine, and it's going to happen whether it's coming whether you like it or not.
It might be a computer-generated erotic experience. You might be playing a game on a CD-ROM. You might be having some other kind of software program. Maybe your computer talks to you and pretends it's your lover. Who knows what, right? Wow, we're going to have these cyber sex suits, and we'll be able to have, sex with virtual Madonna or virtual, Mel Gibson, or, have sex with your favorite celebrity.
Oh, no, get that camera out of here.
Joe, where are you?
I'm right here, Marty.
Someday we may have some fully immersive three-dimensional suit that can generate, sexual sensations.
Obviously, the sense of touch, something that's very important to sex. It's not just a visual or auditory. You have to be able to touch somebody to have sexual experience with them.
I really hope that whatever kind of cyber sex gear we develop isn't some big sex trooper helmet and some full-length bodysuit and you have wires. It's completely cumbersome and the most unerotic thing I could imagine wearing. I'm sure that whatever it is, it'll be lightweight and really sexy, and you won't even feel like you have it on, so.
In sex at the moment, there seems to be a general substitution of the image for the reality. You look at all this phone sex that's going on and generalized pornography all over the society. I don't want to sound like Jesse Helms, but I think this is weird.
Nobody ever does anything about it. That's all changed now.
And I think that, CD-ROM or virtual reality might be a very effective medium to teach young people about, safe sex and just about, sexuality in general.
I think that there would be something wonderful about having a communications device that made it possible for me to make love to somebody at a distance. Really do it.
This technology can be used to communicate affection over a distance, and not just sexually. I'd love to be able to give someone a hug from transcontinentally.
On the other hand,
I don't think that that's the direction that most people want to take it. They want to make it possible to make love to the idea of somebody at a distance, and I think that's fairly pernicious.
I guess I would say that I'd sort of prefer the real thing myself.
sex and games are great, sure, but what can VR really do for us?
The way that this technology works and the way the mind works have a lot to do with each other. But as well, there are applications in architecture, design, manufacturing, space exploration, medicine.
One of the things that computers turn out to be pretty good at is substitutes for microscopes and telescopes into environments that nobody is ever going to really inhabit. I have had the experience of manipulating portions of a molecule where I could actually feel the valences. So I was rearranging atoms and I could feel where they would go and not go. Now that's actually pretty handy if you're trying to design a complex molecule in drug research or something like that.
Being able to see inside the human body is one of the applications of virtual reality that's already proved to have some impact, and in the future, 10 years from now, may be as important as X-rays and CAT scans are today.
Virtual reality has very powerful short-term applications in areas of what's called remote sensing, meaning putting you inside an environment where it's unsafe or impractical for you to go personally, so that a robot controlled through VR can clean up a nuclear disaster in a reactor. It can go down to the floor of the sea, and yet to you it's much as if you were in it.
NASA is interested in developing telepresence technology to help us explore other worlds. Eventually, when we go to the planet Mars or we go out into space, we want to be able to remove the barriers between the human mind and the environment that we want to study.
It's very likely that you will never send a person onto the surface of Mars into a place that you haven't already put a robot reconnaissance traverse into, so that you have the best briefed human crew you can possibly have to go do that traverse. They understand that terrain. They've been through it telepresent.
Virtual reality, to my mind, is ultimately a method of communication.
I think that virtual reality is going to make it possible for people to connect with each other in new ways.
Right now, with network computer communications, you're sort of reduced to words as the internet becomes richer in its ability to transmit large chunks of data. You're going to be using video and sound and eventually VR to do that.
We do work in real-time interactive 3D graphics. We do work on how do you build a large-scale network virtual environment using local area nets and wide area networks.